Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Or coming to you with some more Steel Division Normandy 44. Today we have ourselves a little bit of a quick replay here. This is a 3v3. I think the map was Odon. I might be wrong. But spawning right about here will be our allied players. We have, first of all, Kung playing the 101st Airborne. We have Mighton playing the 6th Airborne. And we have Omega Man playing the 3rd Canadian. Now, against them, in terms of Axis powers here, we have a couple of Panzer Lehr divisions, one by this V number string right here, then as well as 91st Luftlande, Terumi 4021. And finally, like I said before, another Panzer Lehr division under the forces of, oh my gosh, Brother Pedro. Now, I do apologize, I'm still learning a lot of these maps like you guys might be, but we have ourselves obvious point of contention right here in the center part of the map. And looking right around here, it's going to be kind of a difficult process, I think, for the Allies to even pull this back. And even initially, I'm thinking about it right now. Basically because we have two much lighter airborne divisions earlier on. Yes, there's tons of great infantry. But the 3rd Canadian, at least to my experience thus far, has not been thrilling me in terms of, you know, the initial power. Meanwhile, the Panzer Lehr divisions definitely have a lot of early power. You can see already that a lot of material has been deployed on the center road. Now, of course, this is going to be 91st Luftlande right here. You can tell with a lot of the veterancy. These guys are going to drive very, very quickly up the middle line, trying to grab, I would hope, this major avenue right about here. And what, is that also them as well? No, this is Panzer Lehr divisions. So we have Panzerwerfers, we have more mortar half-tracks, and we have Pumas, a couple of Pumas up front to really start pounding on anything that the early Allies can bring on in. Now, this is Mighton's 6th Airborne over here. He's just bringing a Tetrarch Little John. These things are decent enough and kind of being somewhat competitive, but they still kind of get dominated, mostly because they are super, super light tanks. And of course, it doesn't always seem like that when you kind of look at the silhouette, but imagine it as a much lighter tank than maybe what some other players do have. And yes, I'm sure some people out there will tell me the Tetrarch is a great early tank, and for what it is, it's not too bad. But perhaps I'm predisposed against them. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, though, tons and tons of infantry clogging at the center. So Kung's got a lot of his 101st Airborne right around here. I wonder if we're going to see Lieutenant Winters. I did appreciate that little nod that they gave to the actual division with that, though there are definitely a lot of other characteristics that they could have put in place. Now, in the meantime as well, we're going to see Omega Man putting up some VOSP. So this is a universal carrier with flamethrowers attached to the side of it. A command carrier up front. So we have a lot of infantry along these main lines. Again, just expect to see a big rush to right about here. Whoever controls, I would say, if the Allies can control that out and these two areas out, then they're in really good shape. However, if the Germans get that, it's going to be a little bit difficult to push them out. These buildings are extremely condensed, obviously. We're already getting started right now, too. Also, Omega Man putting in a Humbler Mark IV over here, as well as more infantry, so just everyone rushing on in. Now, Brother Pedro bringing in not so much a mirror of what his other Panzer Lehr division is, but at the same time, they are looking to definitely pincer out this map. And you can see already, the Allies were able to get into the center of town, while it looks like Terumi is just a teensy bit behind. Okay, we have a very anti-tank gun. Pretty darn good positions as well. That thing, of course, 1,000 meters you're looking out right now, so taking a look at that line of sight, he's going to see this Kubelwagen if he's not careful, in a very good way for him. But alright, we also already have some rounds coming in indirect fire into the middle of the part of the map. Wow, 25 pounder in the first place, so this is a beastly good artillery piece early on. These are going to get very clogged up here in the middle, so let's actually slow this down for a second. So I do want to see, does he have... No, he doesn't have... I don't see... Oh, sniper scouts, okay. I don't see Lieutenant Winters just yet. But you can see in the initial firefight, right in the middle part of the map, Panzerwerfer just throwing rockets down range, pinning down the initial infantry push, and you can tell already blowing apart parts of the town. Now, we did see that the 91st Luftlande had lost one of their very early squads of Panzerabwehr. Oh my gosh, Flammenwerfers as well. Dear God, it must be hell down there. Crazy amounts of fighting in the middle part of the map already. And over here on the side, we just see a Kubel MG and an Afclair trying to keep line of sight on these Tetrarchs. Tetrarchs are shifting on in, though, so the question is, can they sneak in and around and really push us back? On the Axis right, the Allied left, we are going to see that this Humber is getting damaged rather quickly. Pumas and the SPW-234s are blowing it to pieces, and these guys don't really have anything to do against that. They have Bren gun. They have nothing really for anti-tank that can be any kind of commitment right there. Now, there is a bit of a good opportunity right here. Kong is just throwing incredible amounts of firepower downrange, but these Pumas are still right behind them. So if the Pumas are actually driving in close fire support, you can see already they're putting some good damage down on the mortars. And because of the early great Panzer push, we're seeing 60% to 40% already against the Allies. The position right here in the center part of town is just crumbling, falling apart super quickly. You have to think that this has been a very committed strategy going into this game. Now, the good thing about a lot of these troops is that since a lot of them are airborne, they don't get penalties for being surrounded. However, if you get surrounded, it's still very difficult to re-support your troops. And even backing up right now, we're seeing the Germans are in danger of taking out some of these resupply avenues here. Mark 22 coming on in, as well as, what, a ram? Oh my, okay. I admit, British tanks are not my forte. And I know it's Canadian, but British tanks are not my forte. So I have to do a little more research into them, to be honest. But we are seeing that, dear God, this entire thing's been turned into this cauldron battle of just epic proportions. The Germans are not really even bringing that much extra equipment. Finally, a Stroh coming on in, as well as got a little bit more infantry. But I have to rotate this a little bit more, because it's very clogged in the center part of the map. I'm trying to keep an eye on that as well. So, right, so, ammo explosions. Okay, so one of those Mark 22s is already down, and I think the Ram is probably going to buy it as well. Now, my question is, will 25-pounder continue putting rounds down into the middle of town, or is he going to try to hit that concentration of armor as it retreats back towards the Allied position? Okay, he's just hitting the center of town continuously. I suppose it's a pretty decent idea. And while the Germans were able to go and make a cauldron battle, he's also backing up now again, so that way he can concentrate his armor back into the center part of town. Now, he's got to be careful, because that's a Piat right there, and that thing... Okay, does he actually have vision out there? Not quite. One of the Pumas buys it. The second one's probably going to buy it as well. Yep, there we go. So, a little bit of a bright light for the Allies. But they're still extremely exposed. Only seeing any kind of a success over here on their left. German mortar... Okay, German mortars are nice and close. Just pouring rounds in from different angles here. So, even if guys back away from being pinned, there's not a whole lot they can do. Panzer for blowing them out from the opposite direction. And can you just imagine what it would be like down there? Oh my gosh, it would literally just be hell. Command 22 as well, coming back down again. So an anti-tank gun getting taken out, and this 25-pounder, excuse me, does have some very close armor-piercing ammo. But I've never really seen that piece get utilized too much just yet, mostly because it was in the 3rd Canadian, so it's a newer unit being seen. But I think right now, if he gets that first shot off... Nope, never mind. Okay, he's got to pull back. I think, sadly, had he stayed put, he might have been able to take out that half-track and go right back to firing, but that's not going to be the case. And indeed, now we're seeing the rest of this pocket getting wrapped on up. The Germans are controlling 64% of this map. They want a little percent more just to get that massive rush of points. And I think as they close out this pocket, they'll definitely be able to do that. Another couple of squads falling here and there. This is just a beautiful play of what you can do with two very good Panzer divisions, as well as just this is just, it's shocking to me. Yeah, up to +3. This is insane. Tanks go down in every direction. I think what part of this might have been also a result of is that the air troops can be competitive against more armored divisions, but it's very difficult to do so if they're not prepared for that particular early fight. Now, they're desperately trying to tell people to hold this defensive position here. Not a bad idea either. If they can keep troops on the edge of these orchards, they have some great sight lines to kind of hold down the road, as well as to kind of cover their immediate western flank. There's also this kind of like a little sneaky pathway in and out. If you can stick an anti-tank gun right about here, it's not a terrible position, I would say. I'm sure there are those of you out there that might disagree with me, of course. A Kubel MG back here in the corner. Does Brother Pedro actually see these troops as they're moving away? Yes, he did. Wow. Wow. But we're into Phase B in about 3 minutes. Noble Blitz is coming on in to resupply. It's got to be necessary, too. You're looking at a lot of his, excuse me, his Panzerwerfers as well as his mortar half-tracks. They're taking some firepower. Not so much from Austere. Was it from the Mosquito, perhaps? No. The Mosquito's going after the Recon Panzer half-track. Oh, Recon half-track. Puma, you know, small cat of some sort. But it's just beautiful, beautiful play. Like, I can't... it really, really boggles my mind. Okay, finally the Germans are losing some units here and there, but they're almost up to 1,000 points already, and this map has been going on for less than really about 7 minutes. It's a little bit of setup time, but only about 7 minutes so far. That's incredible to me. They've completely consolidated the central position on the town. Well, they've had to give ground over here on the left-hand side. The left-hand side has not been pushed at all, which is a shame. I feel like Mighton, if he drives against the Puma half-tracks and the materials like that over there on the German left, they could have been sweeping around and taking out the indirect fire from the Germans, but that's not happening here. Now, the Struhe is basically an assault gun of epic proportions. He's able to do some great HE damage, but against tanks, he's almost useless. That's why he's got material like these lighter half-tracks. And are we going to see any kind of engagement? Oh no, okay, we're going to see ME-109. So as the Mustang's coming on in, the ME-109's going to drop rounds on the Ram. The question is, does the Panzerwerfer go down? No, he's going to be specifically falling back now. So the Allies do show signs of life, because the Germans did not quite push that final teensy tiny little bit there. And it looks like enough light fire can completely stress out this crew. Look at this, they're just pouring rounds at them. And more material coming on in. These Mosquito Pathfinders are desperately trying to stave off an imminent Allied defeat. With an ME-109 on the field still, can he make a nice one more pass against that Mosquito? Not enough to take him out. Okay. And another Mark IV has come on in from the Canadians, but there's not much to be said here at this point. This has just been an incredible strategy. Brother Pedro, what is it? Okay, Brother Pedro's troops. Actually, I don't even know where most of these players are at this point. So Brother Pedro's troops are kind of mixed around the town center. He's also got some scouts over here. The 91st Luftländer is just tromping their way down these roads, and while his men are just kind of keeping an eye over here on the other side of things, none of the Germans seem particularly concerned. Truck very quickly offloads his Pathfinders, otherwise these guys are going to get taken out. And they have an opportunity for some anti-tank with their Gannon bombs, so it's going to be very difficult for them to get close enough to even do anything about that. Tetrarch coming on in and immediately gets blown apart. Was the pack that did it? No, it's probably this SPW. So 69, we're approaching a very dark time for the Allies. And indeed, this is actually where the Germans are supposed to ramp up. So taking a look at what's happening already, it seems very difficult that the Germans are going to have anything but just a nice, easy closeout. More infantry pouring in from the 91st. And though we are going to see some M5A1s coming on in, so Stuarts may be coming in to stop the bleeding, some Sherman Mark IIIs. These guys are pretty solid. The question is, do they have anything to be done at this point? Yes, some of this infantry can perhaps stabilize the situation. We're seeing Brother Pedro's going to cut off the resupply over here to the east. And frankly, this is just massively demoralizing. Okay, if these tanks come on in, they're going to get pounded by this Pack 38. And Puma in the area, another Pack 38 watching this western road, this western approach coming on in, and you can see there's nothing but burning carcasses of tanks. And now we're getting a Tiger. Okay, there's a Tiger on the field in Phase B. I don't know if there's anything else can be done here. Marauder coming on in, going to drop all of his 500-pound bombs. Going to completely take out this Fallschirmjäger, but it's a huge waste to use that on the Fallschirmjägers, I would say. If you told him to, you know, lay down his bombs in this area here against the roadside, maybe a better use of his equipment, but I can understand right now it's 75% to 25%. It's insane. It's Pack 38 rotating over, looking maybe probably to get a look down this road, sneaky little peek. Pack 30 can reveal himself against that Sherman. Sherman takes a little bit of fire already. He's not backing off, though. Putting machine gun fire over the other direction. Puma's firing off to the west or the east? I don't actually know. He's firing off to the east. Okay, so I'm assuming as soon as these Shermans do buy it, it's going to be kind of hard for the Allies to do anything. Crew killed. The fuel explosion on the other one. Yeah, this has been over, my friends. So, wow. Congratulations to, I would say, the Axis. This is insane. The coordination that can come into this game against somewhat uncoordinated foes can be just super, super telling. But what's more, you can definitely see the potential for combined arms when both tanks, armored divisions, and infantry divisions are able to work together. Yep, this entire reinforcing line is completely gone. This one is still open for right now. I think he's just going to close that off. Yeah, I think he's just going to close it off real quick. And ME-109 is making gun runs against all this ground material over here. This is pinned down. Pioneers, I'm surprised we're not going to see any sort of Stillhandgranate. Excuse me, Gebatelleitung. But okay, we may not need that now. The 109's pins them. Pioneers trooping on in? No, not going to happen. But alright, so it looks like the Germans are going to close it out with a complete and total victory. Tiga coming in to take a couple maybe pot shots at the Wolverines. I want to see what some of the kills were coming at the end of this game. This is insane. Well played to the Axis players. Bad unfortune to the Allies, this one, unfortunately. Now, kills. Okay, so this was from the 101st Panzer. So his engineers were able to make some nice early pushes, taking out some material here and there. But you see, as the game kind of wore on, they were able to take out practically nothing. Now, losses, on the other hand, the early rush from these half-tracks was just an incredible, incredible amount. Now, I kind of see if I can actually see some of the... Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it can happen. In any case, wow, that was insane. Terumi's troops taking an early pounding of the 91st Luftlanded, of course, but then being supported by the Panzerlehr is just great, great play. But folks, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in for another Steel Division Normandy 44 game. I'm coming out with a new profile soon. I just wanted to make sure I'm dotting my T's and crossing my I's. And then we'll have it put up probably within the next day or two. And continue to shift on forward with more and more of those, as well as more Dawn of War 3 videos, as well as more of Company of Heroes. Anything else you want me to check out, email me at connorwargaming@gmail.com or hit me up in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. You've been sitting just below 1,100 subscribers. I want to get above that, guys. This is a little bit silly now. Regardless, you all have a good day. This is Con Org signing off. Take it easy.